Okay, welcome, ladies. So happy to have you here. You guys did so well, and I loved reading all of your feedback and comments and learnings in the Council of Billionaires group. So thank you for that. So we'll get started immediately and have the guides share more goodies with us. Yes, we're here. So welcome back. Are you ready for round two? So we're going to offer you a different level of thinking today. So yesterday we stretched your brain quite a bit by helping you understand that instead of approaching life from the I need to get and I need to get, I need to get energy, that you actually are allowed to experience a whole another level of expansion simply by a shift of thinking, right? So the shift of thinking is to align yourself to the greatest version of yourself instead of thinking, oh, maybe someday I might actually have what I want. But remember, your job in this lifetime is to always be true to yourself and always stay connected to the spiritual aspect of yourself. In fact, this is actually in essence your purpose. A lot of people are asking, oh, what's my purpose? What's my purpose? So I'm going to really talk about purpose and what that actually means today, right? So when you have signed up for this masterclass, what you have read is you're here to experience your entelechy, which by definition is the realization of your potential. But let us clarify what you think as your potential and what we think as your potential. Okay, when people approach us, they ask us, tell us what my purpose is. They're really asking, give me a job. Okay, almost all of you, that's what you say. Give me a job. Just, give me a job. Tell me what I'm supposed to be doing. Tell me how I'm supposed to make money. So you're approaching it from the perspective of giving me a job. Well, giving me a job is not quite as exciting, quite as expansive, quite as amazing as I'm going to tap into my greatest potential that would include maybe a career. Okay, but you're not saying I'm just going to have a career for the sake of having a career, right? You are actually here to experience the greatest version of who you are. And a job, whether it's a business or you're working for someone, by definition, it's just a very tiny sliver of yourself. So we want to be really clear about that it's a tiny sliver of who you are, and a tiny sliver who you are is not the definition of who you are, and certainly not the definition of your purpose. Okay, so just recognize purpose and potential. Purpose in terms of how you think of purpose, and your potential, they're not exactly the same thing. Okay, a career could be part of your potential, what you're here to experience in this lifetime, but it doesn't have to be. Okay, it doesn't have to be. Maybe some people, their calling in life is to be a mother. Some people's calling in life is to be a father. That's their job. Okay, that is their job. That is what they're here to experience. Maybe their greatest potential will be fulfilled by actually being a parent. So not everyone needs to have some grandiose purpose and save starving children in Africa. It just doesn't work that way. So we want you to just have some perspective. Okay, it's not about you finding the thing and then you're gonna go save the world. Sometimes, yes, sometimes your greatest calling would include the humanity, would include the planet, would include maybe the animals in your planet. It could have a grand scheme, you can say. Now, then we're gonna talk about what is then your potential. Okay? Your potential is you maximizing your awareness of the creator that's inside yourself. We're going to clarify this. Okay, remember, this is not a church. Okay, we're not doing religious preaching here, but we want you to understand that your power comes from this deeper understanding that you are a creator. And when you are confused about that, or when you resist that, this is when your life feels like one big struggle, because you're not owning that power that's within yourself. in fact, we say almost all of you who are here, you're now starting on this journey to become aware of your power. You're starting to recognize that there's something greater within myself and outside myself, but you don't know what it is fully yet. Okay, you sort of kind of have conceptual ideas. So we're going to bridge what you know intellectually and actually what you really know deep down. We're going to make that bridge for you today. Okay, your potential. Okay, let's set career aside. We're going to get back to that in a later point. Your potential as a human being, right? Sometimes you look at people who are really good athletically. Their physical potential maybe is to become an Olympic gold medalist one day in any field. Okay, that's obviously not most people's lifetime goal. Okay, so that is one aspect, which is just the physical body, right? And then there's your relationship. What is the greatest potential in your relationship? How can you be in a relationship that's so filled with love, like so filled with unconditional love that you can accept them even when they're farting? That's totally fine. You're like, no problem. So, and what about your friendship? What about your relationship with your children? What about the people that are just like in your everyday life? Every single aspect of your life, okay, from the minor to the major, okay, it has a potential that you can fully maximize. But what happened is most people are only looking at maybe just 2 or 3 areas. Usually is your health, usually is your career, which usually is your love life, right? Those are sort of the 3 major things that people are usually talking about or get stressed about or worried about. So we want you to start thinking about potential a little bit differently, okay? Let's say, let's take those 3 topics off the table for now, because those topics tend to stress people out, right? They make you feel anxious, make you feel not good enough, make you feel unworthy, undeserving. Lots of stuff comes up. So we want to just put that aside. Now, let's find an area in your life that's you would consider a sort of a minor area, okay? Not like the greatest area in your life, just a minor area. It could be your relationship with your room. Maybe if you like Solera, maybe the room is always messy because usually there's never a clean surface there. There's actually a relationship there that you can improve, okay? Whether it's like a friend that you haven't talked to in a while, you realize maybe I could also maximize that relationship. How can I create a bond, an experience for myself that I feel like this is like the epitome of what is like the best thing in the world, right? For Solera, usually her friendship area is what she considered as the most wealthy area, you can say, richest area. She's very abundant with all of her friends. Never has any issues, usually. So we want to think of some aspect where it's not an aspect that triggers you, but an aspect that you feel like, okay, I feel like this area is not at 100%. Maybe it's like 80%. Maybe it's even really good, like 85, 90%. But how can I reach what I would consider as 100%? Okay. Let's say you're a pretty flexible person, but you're like just like like maybe an inch off from being able to do a split. Okay. So you still have room to grow, right? That means you have an inch where that's your growth. We say maximize it. Okay, why are we telling you this? Because when you start to have an area that you have completely mastered, that you're so confident, you're like, wow, I just know I've mastered it. This is an area, I got it down. Well, guess what? The way you approach that area, how you've mastered that area, you can then translate that skill set to the next area. Maybe next time when you do it, again, don't find an area that's so triggering. Find an area that's not so triggering, okay? Work on that. Maybe in the second area, you feel like you're at 70%. Okay, you're 70%. You're not quite there yet. Okay, Well, how can you go to 75? How can you go to 80, 85, 90? Right? Think of an area. You can even write it down. Okay, I think this area is like 70%. Maybe my health. I'm not super sick, but I'm not super healthy either. Okay. Whatever that you feel like is, I could really do better with this. I could have a fuller experience with this. Maybe it's quality time with your children. Okay, maybe right now it's 85%, but it could be 100%. Okay. I mean, if that topic triggers you, then let's skip that for now. Okay, move on to another topic. So you want to work your way up, and let us clarify. Working your way up, meaning it's not step by step. It just means you go from the area that's the least triggering to the most triggering. Because if you work on the area that's the most triggering, you automatically going to have that knee-jerk reaction where you bounce back. You work on it, you bounce back. You work on it, you bounce back. It's like there's some people where, let's say, weight loss is an area that really triggers them. So they lose weight, they gain weight, they lose weight, they gain weight. It's like they're always struggling in this area, right? You might know people like this, or you could be one like this. Or some people with money is like this. Some people with relationship is like this. Okay, so there's no judgment there. Okay, there's no judgment. It just, you're like, okay, I'm going to not get so triggered by these areas. I'm going to master the minor areas. Okay, but let us explain why we're saying this to you. Because once you have the habit of developing this mental mastery over how you think, over how you experience yourself, you're going to be able to create a lot of things in your life, because now you have the habit of knowing, I am someone who masters the things that I want to master. I know this is who I am. I know I am capable of this. And so if you can master, let's say, the area of friendship, you're like 100%. Okay, could be like maybe 98, 99, 100. Okay, you're like, this is area, it's like, I just feel so confident. This is like my area. Then we want to then move on to the next area. What's then the next area that I want to create, what I consider as 100%. Remember, just hear that. What you consider as 100%. Okay, not what we consider as 100%, or someone else what someone else considers as 100%. It's like someone else's definition of wealthy would be $1 million. Another person's definition of wealthy is $1 billion. So it's very different. Okay, it's what you consider as your 100%. Okay? It's not just money. Money is a little bit more quantifiable, you can say. There's a number. There's like a number that you can attach, right, to it. But other things are not quite black and white. It's a little bit more nebulous. So it's based on how you feel. I feel this is 100%. So your feeling is usually more accurate than a number. Does that make sense? So trust that, because once you master, like here, master your mind, develop the capacity, okay, and then eventually the confidence to know, I am the person who is truly a master over my life. Okay, you see, what happens with a lot of people is they're approaching their life. Remember, we had said yesterday, they approach it like, I'm gonna get this, I'm gonna get this, and I'm gonna get this, I'm gonna get this. But if you always think get, it's like, it feels like you're never done climbing that mountain, and it feels exhausting, right? But what we are trying to teach you is just to develop the habit, the ability, the awareness that you can have mastery over any area that you choose. And how you master one area, that skill that can then be transferred to another area, then you can master any area of your choosing. Does that make sense? You don't have to go fix this, and then fix this, and fix this, and fix this. This is why you're exhausted. Okay, we don't want you to ever approach it, any area, okay, from the perspective of, now I gotta fix this. Oh, look at my tummy. I've got like a few extra pounds, and so then I have to fix that. Oh, look at my kids. They're always screaming at each other. I gotta go fix that. Oh, my husband, I'm always arguing with him. We got to go fix our relationship and talk it out. So you talk it out, you're always talking about the problems. And that goes for everything in life. So we want you to really understand, okay? You're here to become a master. You're not here to be a fixer. Okay? Like tape it onto your forehead if you need to. You're here to be a master. You're not here to be a fixer. There's nothing you need to fix. There's just nothing. As soon as you cut off this attitude of, I gotta fix everything in life, you're gonna be free. Really, we're saying you're gonna be so free. You're gonna have this inner sense of freedom. You're like, wow, I never knew that life could be so good. I don't have to be so busy trying to fix my life and trying to fix this person, trying to fix my children. Because you're approaching life from the perspective of, there's nothing to fix. I'm here simply to choose, okay, what I would like to master. That is a very different attitude. Do you see the difference here? Because when you approach it, you say to yourself, I'm a master of my life. I'm going to pick this area to master because I want to. It's my preference. I think it's fun. You go and start to master that, maximizing the potential of that area. Okay? Maybe pick just like a friend. You're like, you know what? I really could do a better job being a better friend with this person. I'm going to put it on my calendar. I'm going to call her at least once a month. Maybe I haven't talked to her in like 3 years. I'm going to call her at least once a month. It could be your parents. We don't care. It could even be having a better relationship with yourself. Maybe once a month you want to take yourself on a date. Buy yourself flowers and chocolate. Send yourself to a nice restaurant. Go watch a movie. Just have a great time. Right? This is also a relationship that you can master. But it could be anything. Does that make sense? Like, that's why we have said it's something as minor as your relationship with your room, cleaning your room, to something that's grander, what you would consider as harder. Not harder, okay? It's really not. Nothing is harder than, for you maybe, oh, money's harder. For somebody else, relationships harder. But it's not harder. It's just your perception. This is why we're teaching you how to have mastery over yourself, have mastery over the way you think. Then yes, then you become a master of your life. You don't have to go fix anything. You don't have to fix anything at all. There's nothing to fix. Okay. Every time you get triggered by something, you're like, oh gosh, I need to really work on this. Okay, we want you to just take a pause. Okay? Remember, you're not here to strive for perfection. You just here to strive for a better and better sense of, I'm doing really well. I feel really good about myself. Look at me. I am doing awesome. This is what you're striving for. It's just a feeling, I'm awesome. You may not feel awesome today, but the more you practice this, the more you feel awesome. So your homework is literally to not force yourself to have to kind of micromanage and control every single little area in your life, because it doesn't help you. Okay, there's some people, they're really successful, at least by your definition, not by our definition. Okay, you would say, oh, they're so successful and they're like the control freak. They try to manage everything. And then maybe at some point they'll have like a mental breakdown or health breakdown or whatever it is, because life would always teach you the correct lesson. You might think, you're like, well, I don't need to listen to this universe woo-woo spiritual junk. But life will find a way to teach you the lesson, whether you want it or not. It depends on whether you want to learn it now or whether you want to learn it when you're in a car accident. So just remember, allow yourself to stay focused in that alignment that we taught you yesterday. My only goal is to stay in alignment with the greatest version of myself. And you ask the universe, please every day remind me and show me the path to the greatest version of who I am. Okay? Then you free yourself from the confinement that you've created yourself. Okay, no one created the boxes in your head. You created that. Okay, you can blame your parents, you can blame society, you can blame your president. There are lots of things you can blame, but ultimately, you decided that, oh, I'm going to live in this box. I'm going to live in this box. I'm going to live in this box. Okay, so today we're giving you a tool to expand that box, like the toy that we showed you yesterday. Okay, that expands. So we want you to increase that box. And then you're going to ask yourself, how can I maximize the potential of this area? Because I really want to create a full experience of myself in this area. So you go and just do that. And once you feel like, wow, I'm doing so good. Because how you do one thing is how you do everything. You'll actually find that everything, it'll trickle into everything else into your life. All of a sudden your relationship's better. All of a sudden your bank account is increasing. All of a sudden, like, the kids stopped screaming at each other. You're like, oh, I wonder how that happened. Because you're now approaching life not from the perspective of, I'm like the fixer-upper. I get it. I gotta fix everybody. You're like, no, I don't need to do that. I choose what I want to experience. Okay? It's not even choosing what you want to work on. So it's not about working on anything. Okay? It's almost, the words working on sometimes just feels very tiring and exhausting. Don't need to work on anything. You're choosing a path. I want to master this because I want to. Maybe you want a new language. I want to master that. I want to. And remember, there's no timeline. Okay? We're not saying we want you to, go master this in 3 months. Yes, go be fluent in French in 3 months. Okay? Unless you're a genius, you probably won't be fluent in French in 3 months. But with time, with dedication, you will absolutely see yourself improve your French. Right? If you choose, oh, I want to do that. This is like one little area I want to do that. It's like Solera, she takes 1 lesson a week on speaking Thai. She's not, super talented, but she likes it and she has fun with it. She learns how to sing songs with her teacher. Okay, it might take her maybe like 10 years, okay, to master this. But that's fine. It's an area that you can choose to develop should you want to. So there's nothing to fix here. Do you understand? It's an attitude change. It's a perspective change. You're just looking at it slightly differently. I'm not fixing anything. I'm just mastering my life. So next time when a problem arises, you may say, well, guys, I have a lot of problems. You see, eat this and this and this and this and this. Don't you see, like, life is so hard for us? Oh, we see, especially when you think that way. So, but you're gonna want to, like, grab onto it. Okay, that's gonna be your knee-jerk reaction because that's been your habit for many, many years. Oh, let me grab onto it. Let me fix that. What you need to do after you do the knee-jerk reaction is you kind of have to, like, loosen up your grip. Like, oh, but remember, I'm gonna be the greatest version of myself. Is the greatest version of myself going to do that? Maybe not. She's going to take a step back. She's going to look at the situation. She's going to be like, no, I'm a master of my life. I'm going to master this area until the reality reflects back to me that I have mastery over it. Do you see how different it is from trying to fix every little area? Because now you're going to become this person that's so confident in who you are that nothing will faze you, because life goes up, life goes down, right? It's like the stock market. It goes up, it goes down. So that's just part of life. It's not a big deal, okay? But it's a big deal to you right now because you don't have mastery over yourself. So if something bad happens, you're upset. Okay, something really happy happens, you're like, oh, yay. So you're just following with, like, the stock market. Goes up, goes down. Okay? We want you to become a master in who you are, that when bad things happen, you just see them for what they are. Like, I don't love this, but because I'm a master in my life, I can certainly deal with it, and I will find a solution to it. And once again, I'm going to be able to master this area. Just because something hard, it doesn't mean that the universe is trying to punish you. Okay, sometimes it's just a challenge, right? But the challenge is not meant for you to suffer, like suffer through. Like, it's actually there to, hey, here's a challenge. See if you can step up. Start to think about yourself differently. Start to operate differently. So we know there are a lot of little things in your life, like, oh, this is hard, this is hard, this is hard, this is hard. Everything's hard. So you can't fix 10 things. You start with one thing. You say, you know what, everything else just have to be on hold. I'm just gonna have to look at one thing at a time right now. And pick an easy area. Be nice to yourself. Pick an easy area that you know you're gonna win, okay? You're just moving yourself from 90% to 100%. You know this area is already good. Maximize it. Once you get to 100%, you're like, wow, this is amazing. I really can do this. Then you move on, and then you move on, and then you move on. Okay. This is how you create everything that you desire. And soon the speed at which you can create things, like everything that you desire will just come to you, come to you, come to you, come to you. Because it's almost like you will get so good at riding the bicycle, you can just speed up. Right? You can like paddle really, really fast because you're good at it and you're not afraid of the speed. Right? When you're little, think about when you learn how to ride a bicycle. At first, you're just like trying to get on, and you fall, and you get on, you fall, you get on. And once you get on and you have a sense of balance, then you start to pedal a little bit. But sometimes you might still fall off the bike and get scratched because you've like hit a pebble. Right? When you're little, of course, you're not beating yourself up. You're like, oh, that hurts. But you climb back up again. You want to play. Right? Your parents are not yelling at you for falling down. That happens to all the little kids. So you then become really good at riding the bicycle. You're like, oh, look at me. I can go really, really fast. So then you pedal really, really fast. And children love this. They know they're so good at riding the bicycle. They just want to go as fast as possible. Right? Usually it's the parents who are like, okay, don't do it so fast. You might fall off, right? Parents would tell you, don't run so fast. You're going to fall off. But it's natural to want to feel this exhilaration of speed, of getting faster, getting faster, getting faster, getting faster. It's like one of the students shared yesterday, right? Maria said, don't be afraid of speed, because that was something that she was afraid of at the beginning. We don't do snail pace, just so you know. Okay, we don't do snail pace. You want to go find snail pace program, go find somewhere else. Go somewhere else. Don't be afraid of speed. All children love speed. They think it's so fun. Okay? And it is fun. You're going to become the person that is so good, that is so good at creating what you want. You're like, wow, I thought about it and then here it comes. I thought about it and then here it comes. I thought about it and here it comes. But that speed comes from, oh, let me just master this one little area. Does that make sense? And then you master this other little area, this other little area, this other, and then before you know it, it's like the quote unquote difficulty increases, but you're like, oh, that's not a big deal. I already have so much practice. This applies to everything. Whether you want to take up a new language, or you want to have a new business, or you want to develop a new romantic relationship, it applies to all. Okay? Remember, we're here to teach you to be abundant in all areas of life, not just one area of life. Okay? Because we know, even if you have $10 million in your bank account, you're going to come back and you're going to ask us, so now what else is there? Right? we want you to be the kind of person by the time you have the 10, $100 million in your bank account, you have all the other areas also fulfilled. That you're like, wow, I'm 100% over here, and I'm 100% over here, and I'm 100% over here. Look at all my friends. Look at my relationship. Look at my children. Look at my health. Look how clean my room is. That might take Solera another 10 years, but the difficulty level for everybody is different, okay? So recognize you are truly the master of your life. You're the captain of the ship. When things happen, when like the ocean wave happens, you're like, oh my gosh, is the ship's gonna tank, right? Am I gonna go down? No, you're not gonna go down. You're like, no big deal. I'm gonna handle this. Because if I can master this little area, I can absolutely master a bigger area because it's all the same. And when you forget, just say, the guides say so. We're telling you, this is how it works. So don't get so fixated, which is what a lot of you do, on a specific problem. We said this yesterday, right? Because sometimes you get really specific. You're like, oh, this is the exact problem I gotta fix. And you're looking at it like, you're just looking at it every single day. When you analyze the same problem over and over, it's like those people who go to therapists and they talk about the same childhood problems over and over and over like 100,000 times. You're not gonna resolve it. Okay. In fact, sometimes just by letting it go gently, that it dissipates. Okay. We want you to sometimes just think of your problem as, let's say you've cooked something and there's burned food on the stove. So then, it doesn't smell so good, right? What do? You open the window, right? You air out the burnt smell, and eventually it dissipates, and then the room is fine, right? That happens to pretty much everybody. Once in a while, maybe you burn something like the vegetable has turned black. But you're like, oh, okay. You open a window, or you use some kind of ventilator. It gets released. Okay, so when you feel like you're struggling with an area, it's almost like imagine the problem as just like that burnt smell. Okay, it's not pleasant, but it can be released. It's not like stuck there in the room forever. It's just not. If you open the window, it would be released. It's not that you could ever prevent problems from happening, which is what a lot of you want to do. It's like you're trying to control this and control this. You want to prevent problems, but we recommend that you don't approach it that way. Allow problems to come, but recognize, you know what, it's not a big deal. It's just like, the burnt smell. I'm just going to open the window and I'm going to air it out. We want you to approach all the little minor or big problems that come into your life like this. I don't love it. I don't love the burnt smell. But absolutely, you will absolutely be able to release it. Get another pan. Put some new vegetables in there. Okay, there's nothing that's really like so dramatic as life and death. Okay, and even if you were to die, like tomorrow, yes, your family members would be really sad, but it's not really a sad event from our perspective. It's like, Solera, one of the things that she always asks us is, oh, I sometimes feel really bad that I like these expensive bags, and then do you think I'm hurting the cows? I say, you're not hurting the cows. Because animals do not see death the way you see death. It's not a big deal to them. They just transition out of their body. They're like, okay. That's it. That's their experience of death. They just release. They just release from the physical body. Like, okay, bye. Are we saying that that's an excuse for you to be mean to the animals? Of course not. But they're not. There's no attachment. So same thing, okay? Here, don't attach yourself to your life. Be more free, because you're going to die. Okay, this is like a guarantee, right? You're going to die at some point. You're not going to be forever in the body, and you're not going to want to. It's like, think about if you're like 100, 50, you're gonna be old and wrinkly. Do you want to be in there? Like at some point, you're like, I'm kind of done over here. Okay, you're gonna think that. Okay, so it's nice to leave the physical body and just get another one. It's like have another round and play another round of game. Like sometimes even when you play games, it gets old, right? We want to have a really free experience in this lifetime. Okay, this is why we're teaching you the things that we're teaching you, because we don't want you to feel any sort of confinement in your in blockage. Okay, because they're not necessary. Okay, if you were to just have this one lifetime, and you know you're going to die at some point, then maximize it. Do you understand? Maximize it. All the little areas, maximize it. You need to sort of have a little bit of a little bit of courage and bravery here. Okay. Just go all the way, 100%. Don't go 50, don't go 60, go 100%. Okay. When you meet life at 100%, life is going to give you back 100% and so much more. Now that is a guarantee. Okay, and with that, we're going to close the reading for today, and we're going to come back tomorrow as our last day, and we'll allow Solera to transition. Okay, that was a lot. I gotta drink some water. I mean, I swear, like, have to take singing lessons just so that I can channel. Otherwise, I'll have no voice. Okay, so I hope that was very helpful. I see so many imagery when I channel. It's sometimes I wish I can project it so you guys can see it. Okay, so Jessie is our guest today. If you're here, please unmute yourself.
Hey, hey.
Hello. Okay, let me open the video. So, how are you?
Amazing. Yeah, hearing that it just, as Mary said yesterday, it takes you straight back to the sessions. It's just so awesome to be back in that place again.
Yeah, unlimited possibility.
Yeah, though I think that part that's really stayed for me at the moment, and I'm really grateful of that. I see that around all the time when just in thought processes, which I never saw before.
Yeah. You know what today I really want to talk about, because yesterday we talked a lot about, money, and we have questions around wealth. So today I actually want to talk about fun, right? Because they talked about maximizing potential. And I felt like that was like an area for you where you had challenge, which is
Sure.
almost odd, right? Like why would anybody have challenge having fun? But I would like you to really share really how you grew up and how you end up coming to the guides.
Okay, yeah, sure. So I have to have been one of the most unlikely people to have ever come to hear a guide channel, to be honest. So I spent the first 30 years of my life growing up in a very strict religious cult, and I only escaped that 3.5 years ago. And you didn't do anything like mediums, woo, spirituality. That was way out of bounds. So even when I left, I still kept quite strictly religious, and it was like taken me quite a while. In fact, I think we connected over a year ago now, and
Yeah.
you reached out and said, hey, let's have a coffee chat. And I'm like, woo, I don't think I can handle this. I'm not ready. I'm not going there just yet. And I just ghosted on you, I think. So apologies, but you've been awfully gracious about that. So I think that's in the past, hopefully. But yeah, then I started to tiptoe into it, and I was looking at mediums and spirituality in general, and obviously getting a lot more into manifesting, and then came across, which I can't wait for tomorrow, your joint live with Gabby in her group. And it was like, so this was what it was about. Okay, I'm in for a piece of that. And that just put a whole different perspective on it. And I was like, I don't want to miss out on this anymore. It was super interesting what you were saying about mastering areas of your life, because I totally did that 18 months ago when I looked at relationships. It was like, this is just, the universe just kept getting those messages stronger and stronger. It's like, when are you going to wake up? And I really was forced to master that area of my life. And it's like, wow, when you do, the rewards are just so juicy. They really are. So it's like, yeah, okay. As you said, fun was a big area for me, because one of the big things in the cult was anything fun was out of the equation. We just didn't do it. There was so much we weren't allowed to do. And even though I now had the ability to do it, I didn't really think that way. And it seemed like it was really hard for me to relax into having it. And I was like, I want this now. And I get glimpses of it, but only glimpses. And then I would feel really stuck. And then obviously we talked, and we started the sessions. And that was one of the questions, was like, okay, guides, please, can you help me? How do I have more fun? So I'm not sure how many people have asked you that. But the answer was just like, it was so practical. It was just not what I expected at all. It's like, okay, you need to go away and write yourself a list and grade it from 1 to 10. And I have to be honest with you, I didn't even get that far and the fun started coming in. Hands up, I haven't even done the homework, and just putting the thoughts out there and getting into that headspace, and it's just gone like that. It just literally has. So I asked you that in the April. In the May, I had already booked a scenic flight, and which I've been waiting to do for ages, and I just hadn't given myself permission to actually do it because it felt like it was wasteful. And then I'd found an opportunity to partake in a charitable cause that was really important to me, because it was about my chickens, as you know. And at the end of that, the way we were raising funds for that was to do a wing walk.
Okay,
So
you
that
have to explain to people what that is. Like, it's so crazy. Like, it's so crazy.
So a wing walk basically is, you're on a very old plane that is like a biplane, so it has 2 sets of wings, and you are strapped standing upright to the top of this plane, and they take you up for about 10 minutes.
Yeah, like
Standing.
the thing flies in the sky while you sit on top of the plane, not inside the plane.
Yeah, trying to figure out how to breathe at 160 miles an hour. It's kind of challenging, but it was so much fun. And it was like another level of just, like, spa days and things like that have all been not just a luxury, but like scary, actually, because I've not come from a place of relaxing and having fun and letting go. There was a lot of control in the past, and I've kind of tried to really stay in that controlling space. And it's like, no, that's not what fun's about, and it's not what the guides had in mind at all. So yeah, and then it's just continued from there. So on Saturday afternoon, I'm taking my fiance down to do a test flight with the same pilot who did the scenic flight, and he's going to do a quick test flight because my fiance is not quite so into flying, to see how he feels, so that we can start traveling with that pilot and taking day trips abroad with a private pilot. Like, how fun is that? And you just get popped into private airports, you don't have all the queues and everything, and it's not stopped. So yeah, it was speed. It was just so fast.
Yeah, and looks so scary. I actually didn't know what wing walk was. Like, I was like, what is that? You know, I thought you were gonna walk somewhere. I thought it was just like a walk, you know, like you were raising funny, you were gonna do a walk in the park. I was
Yeah.
not expecting you were gonna be strapped on like an airplane, and then fly in the middle of air.
Yes, it was definitely on. I think it would probably rate it about an 11 on the fun list.
Yeah, it was also scary looking.
Yeah, I had a mini panic attack up there, but I'm super pleased I did it. And I think it's just, again, it was like, there's that sense of freedom, and it was flight, and it was like, do you know what? I'm just taking this to a new level.
Yeah. So tell us, how do you feel now, you know, being out of the call and then working with the guides? Like, how do you just feel, you know, in that experience of it?
I've been really curiously leaning into it anyway, but what I found really fascinating is it's not as, how can I put it? It's not as mythical. It's not as intangible as you think it is. Um, I think you're a really great person to show that. Like some woo is just too far for me. It's like woo woo, and it's so ethereal that it's hard to, I feel like I'm too far apart from that because I'm really kind of grassrootsy redneck. Like there's no there's no fancy in that sense, and I'm like, how do I bridge that gap? But it's not like that. And I know one of the times actually I nearly pulled out on a session with you. Maybe I did, I can't remember whether something happened, and I remember sitting there with huge anxiety saying, I don't have any questions, I don't know what to ask, and now my anxiety's going right up. And you're like, you don't have to have any questions, just turn up, they'll do the talking. And sure enough, everything they delivered was exactly in line with stuff that had been going on. It just tied straight in.
Yeah.
It's I don't know, in a weird way, it's kind of like far more tangible than we imagine it to be.
Yes, I'm really glad you said that because actually the guides are really practical. I'm a really practical person, first of all. Like, I wouldn't really accept them if they were just all woo-woo. You know, like, I just, for me, on a personal level, like, I just can't accept them if they were just all woo and telling me about all woo stuff, you know? Because I don't ask, like, super deep questions on a daily basis. I'm like, should I get this dishwasher or not? You know, or like I would go to the mall. Obviously, I'll bring them with me. Be like, hey, you know, I was thinking about buying this dress. What do you think? I talk to them like I would talk to a friend. Really, it's like basic daily life questions, like you ask your friend, hey, what do you think? Right? That's actually how I communicate with them. So I'm really glad you said that. They're actually really practical. This is why if you come in and you actually have serious questions, they will be able to give you an answer. It's not just gonna be like, oh, go meditate and then just like think on the clouds, you know?
It's not like that at all. But it's fascinating what I think from my perspective that you said you talk to them like a friend. Going back to like my religious side, we were always encouraged to do that with God and the Lord and all that. We were supposed to talk to them like a friend. So it's like, how come it's that far apart and that, you know, there was that resistance? And it's just fascinating to, yeah, it just the message just comes through so clear.
Oh my God, I hear like chirping. Are those your chickens?
Yes, I thought this was going to noise cancel
I
them. I'm
love it.
sorry, but yes, they're all going crazy in here.
Okay, yeah, so Jessie is a huge fan of raising really cute chickens, and she's also an author. You want to tell people about your book?
Oh, yeah, so my mentor, Tomorrow's Not Promised, is out. My memoir, rather,
Memoir.
uh, memoir, and the sequel to that is due out shortly as well, which has been really interesting because that was one of the very first questions that we touched on with the guides. Was like, there were so many things I wanted to do, and it was like a centipede, pray which leg comes first, and it was like, what do I do first? And then we just made that so clear that, you know what, you need to be a Girl Scout. I loved that. You need to be a Girl Scout. It's like, take away all the guru-ness. You don't need to be like anything perfectionist. Just be a Girl Scout guide for the change breakers and the change makers and the cycle breakers, and show them how to get their story out.
Yeah.
And they made that so clear. There was so much practical detail in that. They never half-ass anything, ever. They're like, you go into a session and you come out with like, I don't know, like, it feels like 6 months worth of work to do, but it's just because I need to condense that time down. There's so much they give you in a session.
Yeah, I think people are very surprised, and I always try to warn them. A, they're not going to tell you what you want to hear, but they will tell you what you need to hear, and just be prepared to be a little bit overwhelmed because this is not like a regular coaching where they're kind of talking to you, asking you stuff, and there's a bit of that chit chatting. There's like no chit chatting. Like you come, it's like a straight full on answer for however many minutes, and sometimes I'm like gasping for air, you know, by the end of my training session.
I remember you saying how much you were sweating every time because it's just the energy that comes through, and you can feel it.
Yeah, so thank you so much for sharing that experience because I think a lot of people are really afraid to like even come try out a session. Like I know people always want like are curious to like, but oh I don't know, oh I don't know, it's so scary.
Super fun, super fun. And I know, one of the other exercises they gave me, which I love, and I'm leaning far more into it now, and it feels like it's a possibility, because I know at the time I was like, oh, is they were saying like you need to sit down and write 49 pages on your future life, what you want your future life to be. And I was like, how am I going to come up with that much detail as to what I want? But now, having like opened up that portal of expansion, it's just like, oh, okay, yeah, I can do that. And it's just working through it. And it's like more and more comes to me as to what I want, whereas I did not have that space, that size container before. It was just like I was narrowing down what I could do so much.
Yeah, they were really specific with you because I don't think they told anybody else to write 49 pages, but I think they told you because you're a writer.
And then yeah, I just loved it. It was nothing like 49 pages of manifesting. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. No,
We
I'm
don't
really
think we can ask for that much, I don't think.
right. Well, it's just that the guides are really specific in terms of um, giving you the solution that's tailored to you. Honestly, when I channel, everybody's like all the answers are different. I love my work because I'm never bored. It's not like I teach people the same thing over and over and over and over and over. Like everybody's direction is different. Like the way to get there is different, and they've got like 100,000 paths to show you where you need to go. Here, go here. So they do make it very simple. And so for you, because you're a writer, they're like, here's a method that works for you. Just go do that. So I
Very
hope you're starting
personal.
on your 49 pages of manifesting.
I have. I've put a page per particular big thing, and I'm like, right, I'm going to go into the detail of that now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like they tell me stuff. Honestly, they give me so much homework that I could be spending like 10 years just working on all the things that they tell me. But life continues. It's like sometimes you just do what you can. I think when the guys tell you things, it's not like, oh, you got to be like straight A student and like fill out, check all the lists.
Yeah. So there's my perfectionist
Yeah,
just
it's
kicking
like,
off.
you remember what Mary said yesterday? She was like, yeah, I actually didn't do all the homework. She did what, like 85% of the homework? And she's like, but my life has changed completely just having done partially some of the homework.
Totally. And I do feel that. I just there's a change in thought process. Like the way I approach things and the way I look at things now, it's like, oh, I can do that. It's not a problem. Whereas before it would have been huge. And I think it's that step 100. It's like you get so caught up on step 2 rather than looking at the much bigger picture.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story. That was super fun. Yeah, everybody should go check out her wing walk. It's very crazy. And her book as well. So you can hear about really her transformation of like living in a cult to just coming out. Like that's a huge evolution. Like that's a really, really huge evolution. And thanks for trusting me and to really actually take a leap of faith to do this work. So I really appreciate that. So just want to share with everyone the actually Council of Billionaire Mastermind is now open. The enrollment is open now. So we're really taking some leaders here. Okay, I just want to clarify the mastermind is really for people who want to not only expand their container, like what you've heard from Jesse or what you heard from Mary, but it's also really you're stepping up to become a leader in this world. How are you going to really contribute, right, over the course of your lifetime? What are some of the things that you're really here to create? Like Jesse and I were both sort of animal lovers, so that's always like what we want to do, in terms of contribution. But maybe for you, it's different, right? It's really about utilizing wealth to create big changes. But obviously, you got to make the money first, right? I just read today that what's her name? The ex-wife of Jeff Bezos. What's her name? Can't remember at the moment. She just donated like $2.67 billion this year. Like with no strings attached. She's like, here, 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 here. Here's all the money. I feel like she divorced him maybe so that she can just have money to donate to charities. And I'm really glad she married him. And so it's like that's her divorce settlement, and she's just like, okay, I'm going to give to everybody. Well, because she has the funds, right? And when I read her manifesto, which is basically, I don't think it's fair that wealth is only in the hands of a few people, and that's exactly what we're here to change in this world, and what the Council of Billionaires is about is helping you to become so wealthy that you have just overflowing amount of abundance to share with the rest of the world. And it's very important that you identify yourself as someone who is a leader in that way. Okay, so if you're interested, just message me, and you can check out soleraforhumanity.com/apply. Let me just copy and paste that into the chat. So please ask me a question. Now's Q&A time. Want to make sure that everyone gets their answers. Alrighty, unmute yourself. And thank you so much, Jessie, for coming on. And you know what? If nobody has a question, I'm going to ask the guys about that, the last bit. Okay, in terms of like when you have so many things that you want to do, it's like, how do you pick one, right? When you feel like you have like so many like leftover homework, how do you pick that? I'm gonna ask them actually, because I think that's a very interesting question. And then make sure that if you have a question, just ask me after that, okay? Okay, so we do want to clarify that. So that's a great question, Jessie, and thanks so much for sharing with us. So we want to clarify in the sense that sometimes, remember, we don't hold back, right? We give you 200%. We're not just even giving you 100%. We always give you 200%, even in the little bit of a session that you guys all just experienced here. That was like, what, 30, 40 minutes. But we give you everything so that even if you just get 20% of what we say today, you'll be able to improve your life. You'll be able to find a path that's yours. You'll be able to find the next step, okay? Because if we only give you, let's say 50% and not 200%, then maybe you don't hear what we say. So when we tell you things, we give you everything. So if you just pick out 20%, 30%, 40%, if you're really good students, pick out 50%, you go implement that, that's great, okay? It's almost like the way we treat life, the way we also treat you is we give you the whole buffet, okay? And your life is a whole buffet. We want to give you the whole buffet. So you're like, oh, I want to have some Chinese food. I want to have some pizza. I want to have some Italian. Maybe I want to have some like Middle Eastern food. You just pick what you want and you eat what you want, right? We're not here to dictate your life. Remember, you're the master of your life. We just said that. You're here to become a master. So pick the things that are interesting for you, okay? We give you everything. You can sample absolutely everything if you wanted to. But if you just do 20%, that's sufficient. And if you are interested in doing more, then you just do another 20% and another 20%. So be easy about it. It's like when you go to the buffet, you don't want to stuff yourself so full that you can't even walk outside the restaurant, right? Like you want to be full. You want to try as many things as you want to, and that's fine, okay? So try as many things as you want to. It's like, take as much as we give you, but don't feel bad if you can't like absorb everything that we say, okay? Because we operate at a very different level than you. And when we say that, we don't mean it from like oh, we're so much better than you. It's just that we've lived through all the lifetimes, okay? We've done the whole human drama shebang that you're going through, okay? We don't need to do that again, okay? This is why we're not incarnated as people. It's more efficient for us to channel through Solera than it is for us to become a human again, okay? We can just do so much more, okay, for you, give you so much more that way. So we give you everything, okay? Why wouldn't we give you everything, right? We would give you everything. So if you want to only stick to the pizza, then go right ahead. That's fine. You can just eat the pizza, okay? But we're going to hand you every single cuisine that you can possibly have, and just go have fun with it. Try a little bit of this, try a little bit of that, okay? It's like we give Solera a lot of work to do all the time, but she's a good student, so she can probably do 70, 80% of it, okay? Not all of it, because she's tired and then she complains. So, you know, but 70, 80% of what we give her is a lot. So she just does her best, and then that's fine, okay? Don't expect yourself to always sort of be that perfectionist. I gotta like check all the marks in order for me to be good enough, because this is not what it's all about, right? It's about you totally expanding into that next version of yourself. And then once you get to that next version of yourself, you're gonna want more. You're like, I'm gonna have more. I just got this, I'm gonna have more. Because it's fun. Okay? You're not doing this because you want to be miserable. You do this because you want to be fun, having fun. So as you continue, right, we say this to Jesse, but we say this to everybody, as you continue to expand actually your sense of joy, we're very happy that this topic is brought up, because your joy is such a high vibrational state that when you're actually in that happy state, you can create actually a whole lot more. Because when you're in the happy state, there's not a lot of resistance. So remember, law of attraction is very easy. You ask it and it's given, right? So when you're in the happy state, a lot of things are given to you kind of at the same time, like in the background. It's like the universe is like, oh, there's no resistance now. Let us do all the stuff to give her everything. So, but most people is like, you go up, you go down, you go up, you go down, right? Like you go through the human drama. So then every time you hit the down, you're like, oh, I feel so bad. And I feel really, really bad. And I feel really, really, really bad, right? The key is to learn how to bounce up, to be a master. But it's not like you need to be a master like tomorrow, okay? That's not what we're requiring. But the fun, if you don't have fun in what you do, you should just stop. Look at what's going on. Why am I not having fun? Because I should be having fun. I should be paid to have fun. You should absolutely be paid to have fun. This needs to be your new attitude. So it's like Solera, she hates to talk on the phone with anybody. She's like, I'm not going to get on a sales call unless someone's paying me. So that's how she has to build her business. So just recognize you need to really enjoy life. Just every day you need to set up your life. It's my priority needs to be that state of joy. So what do I need to do to just be in that state of joy so that I can have all the things I want, because that way I'm going to manifest all the things I want really quickly. You don't want to be manifesting things slowly, right? Sometimes you feel like life is so slow for you. It's because you resist the fun. You get into your perfectionistic mode. You're like, oh, I got to be perfect, and then I'm going to have fun. So the paradigm shift is you don't need to be perfect and then have fun. In fact, you need to be having fun now. And then the ducks will actually line up in a row. Okay, it's not the other way around where everybody's thinking, I'm going to line up this and this and this, and then I'm going to have fun. You're doing it backwards, and then you're going to suffer. You're going to really suffer that way, because then you are expecting yourself to match some impossible standard in your imagination, by the way. Then you're going to reward yourself, right? You say, oh, I'm going to reward myself. But we're not saying everybody should follow Solera's example. But when there's a meal, the only thing she ever looks at is, I'm going to look at what the desserts are. She always checks, what's on the dessert menu first. And she always orders us first. She said, can you please make sure you have the molten lava cake in the order first? And then I'll work on the salad and then the rest of it. Right? This is even before she met her. She was always like this. She always went for the dessert first. So please don't follow her diet if this is damaging to your body. So just recognize, okay? Your fun is your definition of fun. Your fun doesn't need to be anybody else's definition, okay? Like if you're like a salty kind of person, then obviously you don't want to be eating cakes. You want to be doing something else. So this is why we have offered Jesse a list. We said, make a list, right? You guys all love make lists of things to do. Oh, I have a list of all the things I'm going to do for my business. I'm going to have a list of things, all the things I'm going to do for my family. Oh, I'm going to make a grocery list. You make so many lists, but you don't make a list of fun, right? You're always making lists of things. Oh, I'm going to go to the store. I'm going to make sure I buy A and B and C. And like you check off the list. But where's your list of fun? Where is it? Why don't you have one? If you actually diligently, which is a funny word to use here, if you actually diligently follow that list of fun, you will automatically be upgrading your vibration without you even trying. And all the other things that you say you want would start to come into alignment without you trying. And then before you know it, you're like, oh, the problem that I had before just disappeared. How did that happen? But instead of the fun list, you don't have one. You have all the to-do lists, which trigger you, make you upset, make you feel really stressed and worried. And then you're like, oh my gosh, I not only have a list for myself, I have a list for my husband, I have a list for my children, I have like, everybody's got a list. And then you got to manage all their lists. Where's the fun? Okay. And then here you come to us and you say, oh, I'm struggling. No kidding, you're struggling. You're staring at the wrong list. You literally are staring at the wrong list. Okay? So it's like, there's no excuse, okay? There's no excuse for why you're not having fun in life. In fact, fun needs to be your priority. Fun needs to be your priority. If fun is not a priority, you lose that zest for your life, right? People talk about, when you think of a word, you think of like lemon zest or orange zest, right? It's that flavor, that smells so good, like that kick in a dish when somebody put a little bit of lemon zest, let's say, on top of like a piece of cake or whatever, or on top of fish, right? It's like, that smells really good. When you lose the fun, you lose the zest for life. And then you start to lose motivation, and then you start to lose hope, and then you go down like the spiral of negativity. And sometimes you wonder, well, how come I feel so negative? I want to be a positive person. It's because you're looking at the incorrect list. Okay? So if you want to raise your vibration, it's so simple. Make a list of fun activities. And start to, if you want a checklist, like you want to do the check boxes, go check that box, okay? On this side. Oh, I did something really fun for myself today. Oh, I got myself some new fun nail polish. Oh, I took my kids to go eat ice cream, and they loved it, and that was really fun. Whatever. Okay, doesn't matter what it is. It's your list. Make your list. It's like when you go to the grocery store, you're gonna buy the food that you want to eat, not somebody else. So why don't you? Now here is the thing. It's because what Jessie has mentioned earlier. It's almost like you feel bad. But I don't deserve it yet. I'm not gonna do that until I've met my other goal. I've achieved this, then I'm gonna go do that. Right? People say, oh, you know what? Once I get a promotion, then I'm gonna take my family to a vacation, on a vacation. So you always do the opposite thing. You set yourself a standard, and then you try to meet it, and you work really hard, you hustle, and then you reward yourself. Okay? So then what's the setup? The setup is I hustle, then I have fun to reward the hustle. Do you see what we're saying? You set up yourself, you say, I have to hustle, work really hard, and then I'm going to reward myself. So what are you rewarding? You're rewarding the hustle behavior. This is why you're stressed. This is why you're overworked. This is why you're overwhelmed. Yeah, no kidding. Because you're rewarding the behavior that you shouldn't be rewarding. It's like if you have a kid and the kid goes to school and he just like punches the other kid, okay? What do you do as a parent? You say, oh, good job, Johnny. Let me give you an ice cream cone for punching the other kids in the nose. Okay, if the other kid was innocent, let's say the other kid was innocent, you wouldn't do that as a parent. You're like, why did you do that? Right? Hopefully you'll reason with the kid. You're not going to reward bad behavior, correct? With children. Then why do you reward yourself for quote unquote bad behavior? But you're like, no, that's not bad behavior. I'm like trying to be good by working so hard. but you set yourself up so that you have to keep up this behavior of, I'm going to burn myself out, I'm going to work really hard, and I'm going to be unhappy and miserable, and then I'm going to reward myself. You're not rewarding for the correct thing. You say, oh, then I hustle, I get the promotion, and I'm going to go on a vacation. So then you're rewarding yourself for the hustling instead of rewarding yourself being in a state of happiness, that sense of aliveness, that sense of zest, okay? Go get yourself a lemon tomorrow and smell it. It's that vitality that you're missing in life. So you're always rewarding the bad behavior. You would never do that with children, but you do that with yourself. So then what happens is you set yourself on this path of, I work hard, I struggle, I get a little bit of success, okay, I reward myself. And you repeat the same pattern. So what would be the ideal behavioral pattern? The ideal behavioral pattern is you just reward yourself for being alive. Because you exist. Because there's no definition of good enough in the universe. There's none. You want to go enjoy a vacation because you want to, you deserve that. Okay? If you want to go treat yourself to a nice dinner, you deserve that. It's not the other way around. Okay, then the head comes in. Oh, but I might not have enough money. I need to go make the money first, blah, 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 blah. And you're like, oh, our budget is really tight, or, whatever. Okay. You would experience in your life what you prioritize, what's important. So you have to ask yourself, am I important to myself? Okay. Am I important to myself? Am I important enough for me to love myself and care for myself, give myself little treats here and there because I want to? We're not saying go break your bank, okay? But you make everything else important in your life. My job is so important. Oh, my kids, and their homework, their homework is really important. I better make sure they have all A's. Right? It's like you make everything else so important. The question needs to be, am I important? Am I important for myself? Am I important enough for myself to take care of myself? So when you find yourself sinking in a hole, in this puddle of overwhelm, you're gonna lift up and you're gonna ask yourself, am I important for myself? We really hope the answer is yes, but we can't make you say yes. Okay, can't make you say yes. But we hope the answer is yes. And once you get to the yes, I'm important. Okay, if I was truly important to myself, how would I treat myself? It's like, imagine you had like a really important guest coming, like someone that's like really, super important to you. You love them so much. You would give them anything. How would you treat them? Right? You're going to make sure like all the fine cutlery is out, right? You're going to make sure like the dining table is set. You're going to make sure you have really good gourmet food. Even if you don't have a lot of money, you're going to go out of your way to really take care of that person, right? You would, if you love that person. You will absolutely do that even if you don't have a lot of money. You may even like get some new furnishing to make sure the house looks nice before they arrive. Maybe prepare the bedroom, maybe get a set of new sheets. You would do a lot of extra for that person because you love them. That's just natural. That's true for human beings. When you love someone, you care for someone, you're going to go out of your way to take care of them. So why are you not that important guest in your life? Why are you not? You see, this is where the true issue is. Do you understand? It's not all the other issues that you're looking at that are issues. This is the issue. Where's me? Where's me in this equation? I would love to be happy. right? Everyone says, I would love to be happy. Show me how to be happy. But if you yourself are low on your priority list, you're not going to reach that happiness because you're not important to you. Now, this might trigger you. If you are not important to you, why should someone else see you as important? Like, why should you be important to someone else? Right? It's like sometimes you get really triggered by other people. Or like you wish that they take care of you, or you wish that they do certain things for you. It could be your boss, could be your spouse, could be your friend, whatever. You want stuff from them. But if you are not important to you, then how can you expect that from somebody else? Right? It's like you're demanding someone to be kind to you because you are unable to be kind to yourself sometimes. That may be really hard to hear. It might trigger lots of people. We're not here to please people, so we don't really care if we get triggered. So when you're in that position, when you're demanding, okay, and this happens to everybody, whether some people, maybe they struggle in a relationship. Some people, it's like the opposite. Maybe they struggle with their kids. They demand their kids to be in a certain way. Solera's mom used to say to her, you never appreciate me. It's because at the time where she was at, she wasn't able to appreciate herself. Once her mom started to appreciate herself, she stopped saying that to Solera. She doesn't even call Solera. She's so busy on Friday going out. It's because there's a shift there within herself. So when you say to somebody, oh, I just wish they would appreciate me more. They just never appreciate things I do. What I do is never enough. It's because you are demanding them to be in a certain way for you. And actually, you need to be the person that takes charge and be like, you know what, I'm going to be nice to myself from now on. Right? Being kind to yourself is very good medicine. It heals a lot of stuff, okay, people? It's going to save you on a lot of hospital bills over the course of your lifetime. Okay, we're saving you a lot of money right now. It's really good medicine. When you're in the place of being kind to myself first, and I have so much that I can be kind to other people, not the other way around, where you're being kind to them and then you expect them to do something back. Yeah, same with money. Right? When you have a lot, you're over abundance, then it's like, it's not a big deal. You'll be happy to donate to the charities you love. Because now you're not like, stressing over like $5. So everything is like this. We want you to be in a state of total, complete abundance, right? Not just in money, but in everything. That you just have so much to give because you have plenty, right? But it comes from you giving to yourself first. I'm important, right? When we say important, it's not like the egotistic way, oh, look at me, look at me, look at me. Right? We're saying make yourself an important person in your life. That's what we're saying. Be that special guest, like you're gonna have like a nice fancy dinner for them because you love them. That's you. That should be you. Okay. So by answering this little question, we've pretty much addressed all of your questions. Yes? Because the most important starting point, remember that alignment, it has to be here. This is your starting point. Okay. So remember what we said earlier, there's nothing you need to fix. It's not a problem to fix. You decide tomorrow when you get up, I'm going to make a fun list. I'm going to go do that. List item number 1. That's it. It's so simple. Okay? No one's forcing you to make a list. No one is forcing you to go have fun. If you don't want to have fun, that's fine. Okay? It's your life to live. You want to be miserable or do you want to be happy? It's always a choice. Always, always, always. So please, go be a happy person, right? In your own life. Be that reason. The reason why you are having a fantastic life. And that reason is you. Okay? The reason for you having that fantastic life is you. It's right here. This is it. Don't look at anything else. Don't look at everybody else. This is the reason. And you're going to create that. Okay? This is where you need to have mastery, right? When we say mastery, this is not hard work. We're telling you go get some ice cream. How hard is this? How hard is this? Tell us. Okay? So no excuses, okay? There are really no excuses at all. If you think getting an ice cream cone is hard, then we don't know what to tell you. And yes, don't follow Solera's diet. Okay, and with that, we're complete for today. Of course, they have to throw me under the bus. Yeah, but I'm not a role model for eating. I had so many chocolate chips and banana bread and stuff yesterday and today. Yeah, but it's okay. My body just cooperates and digests because I love it. Okay, everybody. Thank you so much. Thanks, Jesse, for showing up and sharing your life. And thanks to everyone else who joined. It's such a pleasure to do this. I have so much fun doing this. And I would love to see some of you schedule a call with me and look forward to meeting you, look forward to chatting with you, and discuss the possibility of you joining the Council of Billionaires. So a big hug. And please share your comments, using the hashtag COB Masterclass, all right, in your social media. So see you tomorrow. Thank you for watching. If you're ready to access extraordinary wealth and become the next global leader, then I invite you to go to councilofbillionaires.com and schedule a call with me. I look forward to discussing what's possible for you.